All right, so I'm just a yuck, stupid dog, and this is a take which I want to introduce to all the new adherents, all 67 of the new adherents. This take is called The Little Spray Tan Girl, and I don't know what chapter it is, but you could go on the playlist and you could watch all of the saga of the Little Spray Tan Girl. And the Little Spray Tan Girl, this is a really, great depiction of the genius of the Dog Post channel, because the Little Spray Tan Girl should be a Marvel superhero. See, the Little Spray Tan Girl, when she's tan, she could crush anybody. She could go get a knife fight with Hispanics in an alley, and she'd come out smelling like a rose. And then she would go to all the girlfriends, all the guys she knifed up and stabbed. Maybe she had to kill a couple, who knows? Hopefully they all survive, but they're really, they're maimed. They're really, effed up. And then they would go to all the girls. Those spray tan girls said, you shouldn't be putting up with these bullies, these fools, these machismo mother effers. These guys, you should come with me, and then we're going to go do some girl power bullshit, and we're going to conquer the world. And that's what the Little Spray Tan Girl is all about. But if she was white, when she was not tan, she was not browned up, she had no tan because her family didn't support her spray tan addiction. And so if she couldn't afford the spray tan, she turned lily white. Then she had no power, and everybody walked all over. Everybody, she was conquered. If she was spray tanned, she was a superhero. But if she was lily white, she was a victim. She was at the mercy of the world. And that's what makes her a Marvel superhero. All she needs is a spray tan, but she's got to have the money to pay for the spray tan or whatever. Sometimes there's other things that keep her from getting the spray tan. Sometimes she's lily white and very, very ineffectual. Sometimes she's all tanned up and she's a superhero. But anyways, the man lives across the street from the Little Spray Tan Girl, and you can consult all this on the playlist, the Little Spray Tan Girl. And I don't know if this is like the 17th or the 14th chapter. I don't even know how many chapters we did, a Little Spray Tan Girl. You could watch that playlist for yourself. Anyways, he lives across the street. His manor house is across the street from her manor house in this big, elitist, posh neighborhood that the house poor man and me, the dog, find ourselves living in. Anyways, you have enough of the background. Consult some of those old takes from on the playlist of the Little Spray Tan Girl. Little Spray Tan Girl, she got into it. The man was trying to, give her some pointers and telling her how she could earn a little bit more money. There was some dog sitting jobs. The man had noticed on the telephone poles there was some advertisements for some dog sitting jobs. And the man was like, hey, Little Spray Tan Girl, you need to go do some dog sitting jobs so so that way you could earn some money and stay spray tanned up. She's like, you don't know what that is. They could be like trying to accost little girls and ship them off to Mexico. You don't know what's going on. Believe me, the blondes maybe are number one. Maybe the redheads are number two. Maybe the redheads are number one. You know what I'm saying? The brunettes are number three. They're the safest ones, but they're trying to steal these little spray tan girls and ship them off to, I don't know where. But, there's a lot of gangs. And the man's like, there's no gangs roaming around this elitist, posh neighborhood in, Western Kentucky. And the Little Spray tan girl's like, yeah, there is, you fool. Anyways, they got beef, and she was trying to skateboard. She was trying to grind some rails. And the man was like, do not grind rails. You're going to fall and you're going to break your nose. What are you, stupid? You're going to get a gash on your forehead. Little Spray Tan Girl, just go do some dog sitting jobs and get some money. Anyways, during their discussions, because there was a lot of honeysuckle blooming, because it's May in Western Kentucky, and there was also, the wild roses started coming out. They started talking about what you could smell this, what you could smell that. Little Spray Tan Girl, finally, she's like, you know what? Her tan was fading, so that's why she wasn't powerful enough to just tell the man to go screw himself. She had to deal with the man and try to talk her way out of it. But also, she said, you know what? You smell like the outside. And the man was like, that's a compliment. And the Little Spray Tan Girl's like, no, that's not a compliment, you idiot. You smell like the outside. And the man's like, no, it's cool when you smell like the outside. And she's like, I can smell the fragrance of cigar on you, old stank. I could smell library on you. I could smell flag, like the United States of America, old school flag on you. The man's like, holy crap, you should be a fragrancist. You should become a fragrance person that does work for perfumers. All right, so flash forward like 6-7 months. Little spray tan girl, she's got a spray tan sometimes she's white. Sometimes she has all her powers, sometimes she has no power. She's working for a fragrance manufacturer. They call her in one day, like, little spray tan girl, what do you smell here? So little spray tan girl, she was all tanned up and she says, I smell notes of white clover, honeysuckle, and a sousson. I smell a sousson of narrow leaf plantain. Well, they were like blown away. They're so happy, like, oh my God, this girl, she's got it. They call her back in like 2 weeks later to nail this down, to say this is the fragrance we're going with, but she didn't have no spray tan by that point. So they say, little spray tan girl, what do you smell? She says, I smell notes of cauliflower, boiled eggs, and feet. And they're like, what? What? Little spray tan girl. Little spray tan girl. She was literally white. She didn't have no spray tan. They're like, oh my God, this is so terrible. She's like, she tries to put him off. She says, she excuses herself. She says, wait a second. I got an ulcer. I got to go drink some milk of magnesia. Let me come back in a couple days. She goes and she picks up cans along the side of the road. She gets enough money to get a spray tan. She comes back in 3 days later. They're like, little spray tan girl, what do you detect? What notes do you detect in this perfume? She's like, I detect notes of wild rose, lilac, and sun-dried bed sheets. You know, when you hung out the bed sheets on the clothesline in an old school way and it was dried by the sun, that's what I smell. They were blown away, like, oh my God, little spray tan girl, we're going to market this. Come in a couple of days from now. Once we get to refine this, we'll nail it down. She came back in, they had a few pauses. Some of the guys, some of the vice presidents, they had to go play some highlight. They had to play, highlight. What are you, stupid? Anyways, it was like 7-8 days later, her tan had faded. They said, what do you smell? What do you detect with your supersonic fragrance abilities? She says, I detect a briny fish wharf, garbage truck, and drippings. Garbage truck drippings and an unwashed belly button. They vomited in their mouths. They're like, oh my God, that's what you detect? That's not acceptable. We can't make a fragrance based on unwashed belly button rank odor. What are you, crazy? So again, she went and she rolled up all the pennies she had scattered around her house in her manor house. She had a bunch of pennies and she dug pennies out of the sofa. She rolled them all up. She humped up enough to get her another spray tan. And she came in there like, hey, little spray tan girl, we're getting sick of you, failing. We need you to be successful. So what do you smell? What do you smell in this fragrance? We got to know, little spray tan girl. We got to go to market with this shit. Little spray tan girl says, I smell notes of mountain air, zested orange peel, and a sousson of freshly cut grass. They fell all over themselves. They're like, little spray tan girl, this is it. You have nailed it. This is where we're going with this. This is the fragrance we're going to produce. They told her, come back in 2 weeks. We're going to nail it down. We're going to just refine it. We're going to make sure it's marketable. We're going to make sure we have the ability to make it on a mass production scale. She came back in 15 days later. She had faded again. They said, what do you now? Just to confirm, what do you smell? She says, I smell tackle box, mop water, and meat breath. And because they were also, they were under the gun, all those vice presidents, they said, we're going to go with meat breath. And they made the new perfume endorsed by the little spray tan girl who was not very sprayed up. She was very white at that point. She was lily white. They came up with a fragrance entitled Meat Breath. Meat Breath. When they marketed it, it was a huge failure. It was a colossal failure. But a postscript to this whole take is that She came back in one day when she was all tanned up, and one of the presidents, not the vice presidents, the presidents was there. And he said, what do you think, little spray tan girl? And he said, listen, I'm going to tell you this. We can't come back. Once I tell you the way it smells, you got to just go with that. Go with that formula. Don't come back a couple weeks later because maybe I won't be spray tanned and I will be lily white and I have no powers and all my powers will be just cutting us off the knees and throwing us over the hill and we'll be all screwed. We'll all be douched. So when I tell you what this is, just market it. Just go with it right then and there. And then the president's like, I'll go with it, little spray tan girl. Just tell me what it is. And she says, all right, I smell notes of women's perms. You know, women's perms from a perm haircut. A permanent. I smell a fragrance notes. I smell notes of women's perms. I smell notes of tomato plants and a sousance, just a sousance, a touch of rain on hot asphalt. The president was blown away. He fell down prone on the floor. Little spray tan girl was, get your ass up and don't ask me to come back. This is it. I'm telling you, this is it. Well, anyways, they came back to her anyways, and they said, little spray tan girl, you know, they were smart this time. They gave her $63. They said, go get a spray tan, come in 2 days from now and tell us what you think. She's like, all right, finally, somebody with some brains in their head, you know what I'm saying? She came back in 2 days later. She was all tanned up. She was all spray tanned up. She looked like Donald Trump's niece, okay? Anyway, she says, I smell women's perms, tomato plants, and a touch of rain on hot asphalt. Plus, and the vice presidents and the president himself, they're all shaking. What is it? What is the plus? They're thinking they're going to have the rug pulled out from under them again. She says, and I smell notes of all this women's perm, the tomato plants, the touch of rain on hot asphalt. It's all ensconced in smothered newborn baby fragrance. It's all smothered in newborn baby fragrance. And that was it. That launched the little spray tan girl's fragrance career. She became a multimillionaire, which we were all happy because we didn't know what was going to happen to her because her family didn't pay no attention to her and didn't give a shit what happened to her. So once she became a fragrance magnate, everybody was like, God bless. You know what I'm saying? We were all like, God bless. It's so awesome. I cannot believe she made it. You know, from where she came from to where she went to. No one can figure it out. I'm a young stupid dog. This has been, I don't know what chapter it is for the little spray tan girl, but this is a little spray tan girl take, and I hope all the new adherents could follow. Whatever. It's all right. Don't worry about it.